The Chicago Bulls get a win over the Dallas Mavericks that was overshined by the Chicago Bears getting a playoff win. But on today's episode, we're talking about Coby's big game against the Mavs. We're talking about Jalen Smith and Kevin Huerter returning to the Chicago Bulls lineup. And there are a ton of Chicago Bulls trade rumors going on right now. All that and more on today's Locked On Bulls.
You are Locked On Bulls, your daily Chicago Bulls podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Thank you for tuning in to Locked On Bulls, member of the Locked On Podcast Network, where it's your team every single day. I'm Haize, host and creator of Chicago Bulls Central, Chicago Bears Central YouTube pages and podcasts. Pat, the designer, will be joining us here in a few. We're just going to go ahead and get it started off today. The Bulls got a win on Saturday over the Dallas Mavericks, 125-107. This was the Bulls getting back in the win column after a 3-game losing streak. It moves them back to now 2 games below 500. In this game, Coby White, 22 points, came alive really in the second half of that game. He was still only 2 of 7 from three-point range, so we still haven't seen Coby get back his rhythm three-point shooting-wise. But for what it's worth, he led all scorers with 22 points in that game. Second only player close to him was Ayo Dosunmu with 20, which we're going to talk a little bit about when we get into the second segment of this episode. But, you know, the Bulls took care of business, and it was a needed taking care of business because they was on a 3-game losing streak. We get Pat, the designer, in the building. What's going on, Pat?
What's going on, Brody? How you feeling, man?
I'm feeling good, bro. I'm feeling good. The Bears are in the divisional round, bro. I'm feeling good. Can't nothing ruin my high right now.
Except talking Bulls.
Oh, no, that it can't even ruin my high because at least they won. That can't ruin my high.
It was a winning day, at least.
Yeah, so it was a winning day because, you know, we don't have a lot of times where the Bears and the Bulls play on the same day and both teams win. So, you know, that for what that's worth, that's good. But Pat, in this game against the Dallas Mavericks, the Bulls have 7 players who score in double figures, led by Coby White with 22 points, Ayo Dosunmu with 20. Amadis Buzelis had 15, 6 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 blocks. He outshined, at least for that night, Cooper Flag. How you feeling about the Bulls getting a win column after a 3-game losing streak?
Listen, good win. I thought much better second half for Coby than first half. Really got consistent, really got comfortable in the second half. It's what you need to see from him. And when he gets himself going, he can score in bunches. 13 points in the second half. Thought he did a really good job. Him and Ayo thought did a really good job in that second half of really holding it down for the team. Defensively, I thought the intensity picked up a lot more in the second half. And you really just you force them into some tough situations. Now, I think, you know, for the most part, it almost was like, at least to me, I haven't seen a Bulls team turn a team over that much in a while. Second half, 10 turnovers. They were forcing them into some really, really tough situations and basically saying, if Cooper Flag beats us, Cooper Flag beats us. But Cooper Flag was in so many, like, I can't get a shot off situations. It was surprising to see for the kind of player that he is. Now, Cooper Flag does have games like this where he's not as involved in the game plan as maybe you would expect in the second half there. I thought it was more of a Najee Marshall second half. But outside of that, dog, like, it was impressive to see how the Bulls' defensive intensity really turned up on the Mavericks, especially with a player that can really get after you like they have in Cooper Flag.
Yeah, I mean, listen, holding Cooper Flag to 11 points with some of the scoring performances we've seen from him lately, you know, it says a lot about the Bulls' defense. You hit the nail on the head. The defensive intensity kicked up in the second half of this game. And, you know, that's what we've seen from Bulls at times this season. It just hasn't been consistent. But when this team does decide to defend really well and communicate on the defensive side of the ball, I'm not saying we're a top 10 defense or anything, but I do think we can get enough defensively from this team when we need to. They just don't do it consistently. So it was good to see. And let's be clear, it's not like the Mavericks are one of the best teams in the league either, right? They have their own struggles. They're a very young team.
Anthony Davis is dead.
I mean, Anthony Davis is always dead, bro. At this point, you know, we can't even say Anthony Davis is alive. It's just when he's up, he's a walking dead. He just can walk.
He was walking dead at that Packers game too. How'd that feel, huh, AD? You fake Chicagoan. You gasted.
Bro, I can't stand that Anthony Davis is a Packers fan, bro. Like, it makes me hate him even more, bro.
Yeah, the Bulls definitely should not trade for him. It's sad to say I'm not happy that he got hurt, but there was that moment where I was like, all right, maybe this will make AK not do it.
I don't think AK was going to trade for almost $60 million contract anyway. I think that was kind of more of media speak, but we do got a lot of trade rumors to get into at the
they
end of the show.
staying in on Zion. We'll see.
Well, I mean, now they're saying they're not going to trade Zion. So,
yeah, they're a weird team.
I mean, listen, the Pelicans are a team that's literally the definition of we just trying to find something that works because how do you, like you all season long we've heard that Trey Murphy and Zion Williamson are available, and then just on Friday it comes out like, oh, we actually want to see what this core of we feel like Trey and Zion are the perfect players to play off each other. This is not a new combo. They've been here for years. Like, what do you mean?
They're getting skinny Zion now. It means something different, bro. He's not picking up those big women as much anymore. Yeah, he's just
no. The problem is he's still picking. It's not even the biggest, the ugly women. He's still picking up the ugly women.
You can't fix it all. You can't.
Bro,
you either get the big or you get the ugly.
Like, bro, you are literally a millionaire. Why are you getting the most regular OnlyFans models in the world, bro? Like,
hey man, I ain't gonna yuck his yum. I guess.
I mean, do what you got. Some people are just attracted to ugly people. But nonetheless, get back on this game.
Zion Williamson and porn star.
A lot of them too. Like I never would have thought that clip would have been so apropos for so long. But
bro,
they keep popping up.
Bro, it's every year now. Like, what has it been? 3 in like the last 2-3 weeks that have popped up? Like, damn, Zion, go find you a regular woman, bro. Like, just leave the OnlyFans.
Maybe he do need to come to Chicago. Find you a chick on the West Side, brother.
Bro, listen. Now, if those OnlyFans models are getting off on him, you know what a West Side Chicagoan chick's going to do to Zion Williamson, bro?
Nah, but he like them ugly, so it'll be a down to earth chick.
Maybe, bro. Maybe. I still worry about him being in the same city, man, where Portillo's is, bro. I worry about him.
A winter circle means something different to him.
Portillo's, Sharks, Harold's, like, oh, come on, bro. He's
all open at 3 a.m.
Bro, clogged artery in 8 months. But to get back on this game, the Bulls have an easier schedule this week, which sometimes actually hurts the Bulls more. We have Houston coming up tomorrow, and then we have a game against Utah, and then 2 games, a home and home against Brooklyn. So 2 games against Brooklyn to end this week. Anything that you're seeing momentum-wise, you think the Bulls can ride out this week?
No, because you never know what team is going to be. I mean, honestly, that is the biggest issue that we still have with this Bulls team. I don't know what team's going to show up. They played a very different game defensively in the second half than they did in the first half. I thought that, you really got guys going. You got Coby White going, like I said, in the second half. You get Ayo Dosunmu going in the second half. Those are guys who Ayo Dosunmu's been a lot more consistent, but Kobe's been a very streaky player. So is Coby White going to be that offensive player versus Houston? Probably will versus Houston. Will he be that same player versus Brooklyn? I have no idea. Like that's the tough part about this team is there has never been, and it seems like it probably won't happen this season, maybe after the trade deadline, a consistent flow with this team. You haven't gotten into this is who this team is night in and night out. And that is still my biggest concern with this Bulls team moving forward, right? Like, doesn't matter what kind of players you are. Who are you at the core? Who are you when the things get tough? What do you fall back on? And honestly, I don't know what the Bulls fall back on. I think it's a lot of 3-point shooting from a lot of dudes that can't shoot threes. That's usually what our fallback is, and that's not a great place to be.
That's still one of the biggest things about this team that, like you said, it's hard to get a rhythm when one of the things you do the most is something you're not good at. Like it doesn't make any sense. Like
it's like golf with them, bro. Like they'll have a day where they shoot like 51% from 3, and they're like, "See, we can do it." And it's like, no, you just had a good day, bro. Like,
yeah, bro.
You don't have to believe that.
And it's the elimination of the mid range completely, bro. Because like I've done digging into like the analytics of it, bro. The Bulls, even on a small sample size, are one of between the mid-range and the paint, not the restricted area, but the paint. The Bulls are one of the most elite teams shooting in there. They're like a top 5 team shooting in those areas. We just don't do it much. It's like, how can you eliminate something you're so good at for something you're not good at to do more? It doesn't make any sense, bro.
Because you get an extra point if you do make it.
Yeah, but you're not, though. But you're not.
But you're not. Oh, that is the biggest thing, bro. Like, it's like the only mid-range we really have on this team is like the Vooch hook shot and that weird floater that weird push shot that P. Will does. Yeah. That's really the only mid-range we really see this Bulls team do on a consistent basis. And I get it, right? Like different NBA, you're trying to keep pace scoring wise. But if you play defense like you did in the second quarter, which we've seen them be capable of at times, it's just about commitment to it, and you shoot that the mid range as well as you do, and finish around the rim as well as they do. Like, you can actually win some of these games that it seems like you're out of. I get it if you got to go shot for shot with like the Warriors, but you're going shot for shot with teams that are struggling to put up 110 points.
Yeah, that's just the Bulls' experience this year. But we're going to continue talking about that experience because injuries have been a huge part of the Bulls' experience this year. And we got Jalen Smith and Kevin Huerter returning. And Billy Donovan actually has some comments in regards to the Bulls' injuries as well. We'll talk about all that right after this. But before we get into that, we got to get into a message from FanDuel. Fridays already felt different during basketball season, and FanDuel is making them even better. Every Friday night before the games tip off, FanDuel gives fans a new way to kick off the weekend with NBA Happy Hour. NBA Happy Hour is your official pregame, a limited time window where special offers drop right inside the FanDuel app before the action starts. Fridays from 6 to 7:30 Eastern have become appointment viewing with NBA Happy Hour. Open the FanDuel app during Happy Hour always brings something new, boosts, bonuses, and surprises. The timing is perfect. Right before the game, right before the weekend starts, it adds extra energy to Friday night basketball without overthinking it. So before tip-off, check the FanDuel app and see what's dropping during NBA Happy Hour every Friday from 6 to 7:30 p.m. Eastern. A little basketball, a little action, and a whole lot of Friday energy. That's NBA Happy Hour only on FanDuel, the official sportsbook partner of the NBA. More Locked On Bulls coming up next. All right, Pat. So in the game against the Mavericks, we did get Jalen Smith and Kevin Huerter returning to the basketball court for the Chicago Bulls. Billy Donovan made a comment after it in which he talked about the fact that the Bulls have missed 8 players at different times this year, eight actual rotational pieces, for the Chicago Bulls at different parts of the season, and just basically saying that we got to find a way to have an identity even with guys being out. I'd go so far and take this a step further, Pat. I don't think that the Bulls personally can wait on them to be fully healthy to evaluate. This is just not going to happen. We've run out of the runway now to have a meaningful time period to evaluate this roster fully healthy. Josh Giddey's not coming back until Wednesday at the earliest. Zach Collins now is not being reevaluated to Wednesday. Billy Donovan said we won't hear an exact update on what's going on with his big toe situation until Wednesday. They're trying to avoid surgery, so that doesn't sound like he's coming back anytime soon. So we're not going to have this month of basketball that we had hoped for of having fully healthy Bulls to evaluate. The Bulls can't wait on that anymore. AK will look at me in my face and say, Haize, why can't I? And I say, okay, AK, do you. But, hey, what do you think about getting closer to being fully healthy? And then B, the second part of that, as far as the Bulls evaluating this roster and what that means for the trade deadline amidst the injuries.
Very rarely do you start off an NBA season completely banged up, and by the end of it, you go, yeah, we're on a healthy stretch now. Like, very rarely. You're probably never going to be fully healthy this season. That's the reality of professional sports. That's the reality of sports in general. But like, you usually spend the rest of the season trying to get your body back to a point of right. And maybe All-Star break is a time that you can do that. You get a little bit more time off, and so a little bit more time to focus on your body, focus on resting and relaxing where you're not playing games consistently. But I wouldn't expect this Bulls team to be fully healthy at any point this season because it's just probably not in the cards for you this year. That's okay. Don't mean that you won't get to a point where you can play through some of those injuries. But if you're waiting for a fully healthy Bulls team to evaluate whether this team is going to be in the play-in or be at the bottom of the playoffs, like that shouldn't be the make or break for you on deals getting done. And it is the biggest concern. It is the biggest issue. It is the biggest problem that we continue to have with the Chicago Bulls front office. You're waiting for something to happen. And while you wait, now you're sitting there looking around going, dang, that first round pick that they offered is gone. Dang, those deals that we had on the table, we don't have those anymore. Well, why don't you think you have them? Because you have a organization, because you have a team that is waiting for the team to be fully healthy. You waited 4 years for Lonzo to be fully healthy, and it got you Isaac Okoro, who's struggling to stay in front of anybody. So if you're waiting for fully healthy, I guess we're not. I mean, listen, dog, we kind of said we're not trading anybody anyway. Well, we're like, deals might get done, but then AK, you know what I mean? That's kind of where I'm
Like,
at.
the option is there, right? Like they have. It's not about like for in prior years leading into the trade deadline. It was more so like, hey, you know, who's going to want this, whatever else. These are possibilities, but like the Bulls legitimately have. They have $90 million in expirings, $20 million in trade exceptions, all the first round picks, and a disabled player exception because of Noah Estingay. You know what, Pat? They're probably not going to use any of them.
At all.
Yeah.
Like I don't have faith that they will. I don't think that this team is gonna go out there and change up or try to add or try like I mean, maybe you try to add a little bit, but like what are you adding realistically? A couple of expiring veteran contracts that maybe
no, I think there are some like legitimately. If Zubac is legitimately available, I wouldn't be mad.
Oh no, there's trades you can make.
Yeah.
There's definitely trades you can make. I don't know if we're going to see AK do that because it hasn't been his MO.
It's true. Yeah.
It hasn't been who he is. The biggest trade deadline we got our first round pick back for Zach LaVine, and we got Trey Jones and Zach Collins
and Kevin Huerter.
And Kevin Huerter,
actually a pretty solid trade when you look back on it.
It's not that it's a bad trade. It's just like when you look at what has been on the table or what you could have gotten at certain points because you didn't want to be aggressive or you wanted to wait until guys were healthy or you wanted to wait and to see what a team looked like fully for a month. That's the result that you get. Not a bad result, but it's not what it could have been for you.
Yeah.
And it's because of your own, we're going to wait and see what guys are. And listen, at this point, like, you know what guys are. Jalen Smith, solid big, can move around the floor well, defends the rim okay, right? Like, and can be great in pick and roll for you. Kevin Huerter is, weirdly enough to say, a 3-and-D player, but the 3 is the problem. Like, he hasn't found the 3 consistently outside of the first 10 games he was here? 10 or 15 games he was here? Like, and then he continues to be on the injury report. So you know who these guys are. I think that's the most frustrating part about this for Bulls fans. There are no questions on who Jalen Smith and Kevin Huerter are. Do we expect them to become different people? Do we think that they're going to be different players here in the upcoming couple of weeks before the trade deadline? Like, it makes no sense to wait at this point.
Yeah, I mean, here's the thing, right? At this point, like it comes down to what AK really wants to do, and we don't know that, right? Like AK is somebody who talks a big game, he talks about things, but AK also very much so makes excuses on why he keeps things the same, right? Like he'll look at something and say, like, I could completely see AK February 5th, 4 p.m. after the trade deadline coming out and saying, well, you know, we felt it was unfair to move these guys without us having a large sample size of seeing them fully healthy. I completely expect them to do that, right? They'll say all day, like, yeah, we wanted to do some things, but we felt like we needed to give this group a chance. And to some degree, I guess, if we were, let's say, Pat, we were hovering around 7th or 8th with all the injuries, like, well, hell, maybe you could be a team that misses the play-in if you are fully healthy, but we're still in 9th or 10th. Like, when it comes to AK, I don't trust him to get out of his own way. Yeah. We have the assets. We have the things that we can move. I just don't trust AK to get out of his own way. If he proves me wrong, great. The move for LaVine ended up being overall a good move to help us. All those pieces were better than the individual player of LaVine, and we wouldn't have had the draft pick if we didn't make that trade too. Oh, okay, cool. You did something there. Now it's just like that, always to get over that next step. That's where AK starts overthinking it and limits himself. And so until I see otherwise, why would I believe he's going to do it?
And by the way, if your goal is let's make moves to try and or let's keep these guys together to hope that we can, you know, get to 7 or 8, trade them.
Yeah.
Like, honestly, like, if your goal is, hey, maybe we can be 7 or 8, trade them. Because that is not a goal to aspire to be. They are not going to. These are not young players that are going to change or evolve year over
I gotta
year.
fight back on that, Pat. We are the second youngest team in the NBA, just if minus Vooch. I mean, there is something to be said that we are young. We are overall a young team, but at the same time, I still look at it and say that it's still not a 7th or 8th isn't enough. Yeah, it's increase of where you've been, but it's still not enough. Like you got to be aiming to avoid the play-in at some point. We can't just keep staying in the play-in, KK.
But here's my problem with that, right? Like we are are we the youngest team in the NBA? Youngest team in the NBA. It's because we got some bottom of the barrel players that are the youngest players in the NBA. You got a Jalen Terry who is 22, I think, at this point.
Is Jalen only 22?
Bro, Dalen's young as heck, bro. Dalen might be 22, maybe 23. You still got Patrick Williams, who's incredibly young.
He's 23 years old.
He's how much? Oh,
23.
23. You got Patrick Williams, who gives you absolutely nothing, who's still under 25. You've got, like, you have a bunch of these players. Julian Phillips, who gives you nothing. So it's kind of like how the Thunder went from the second or third youngest team in the NBA, and then they added Alex Caruso, and it was like, well, now you're middle of the pack age-wise. No, you're not. Alex Caruso's just old.
Well, here's the thing though, Pat, and this is the AK again. I'm not fighting against what you say, but I would say this is the AK thought. If you said that to AK would say, well, bet if we're competing for the 8th seed with as many young players as you just told me are terrible, I'm going to go out and get a couple of better players that are marginally better. We're going to be the 6th seed. I'm just telling you what AK would take there.
Hey, again, if you're competing for the 8th seed, you ain't competing for the 8th seed right now.
Technically they are. What are they, like 1.5 games back of the 8th seed? So technically they are.
Staying right where we at. We're staying right where we're at. I gotta route this stuff different, bro. It's a power cord here that is causing my mic to have power on it. And that is annoying the mess out of me. I just shocked this shit out of myself. Let me do my ad reads. That hurt. I just shocked this shit out. I don't know what it is. Something getting rerouted on this one. That hurt bad. Hey, man, we got to talk. That's the kind of wake up that AKD. We got to talk about all of these trade rumors that we have coming up next. But first, we got to tell you guys all about Game Time. During the basketball season, there's nothing like being in the building and the energy that you get from the crowd every single time that you sit down at the stadium. And that's where the Game Time app comes in. Game Time gives fans the advantage back, making it incredibly easy to score amazing tickets, fast, simple, and without the guesswork. Browsing the Game Time app is straightforward and intuitive. Finding tickets takes just a few taps. Seeing the view from your seats before buying makes choosing tickets easy and confident. So take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, use code LOCKEDONNBA. That's LOCKEDONNBA for $20 off your first purchase. Download the Game Time app today and get in on the action. More Locked On Bulls coming up next.
I forgot the music, but hey,
that's all right. We're here.
We're here. All right, Pat. So over the weekend, basically since the last time we recorded from Friday to now, there's been a number of NBA rumors that have popped up that are linked to the Bulls. We've heard a lot about that the Pelicans could take a similar Trae Young trade as far as taking expirings. About a day later, it came out that the Pelicans aren't moving Zion, they aren't moving Trae, they aren't moving Herb Jones. They're committed in, seeing what this core can do. And I at some point understand that. But then it came out, Pat, as well, Saturday night, the Knicks are interested in not just Coby, not just Io, but adding both potentially at the trade deadline.
Yeah.
I want to start there. Is there anything on the Knicks that would interest you?
I mean, nothing that they're willing to give up. You know what I mean? Like, we know it's not going to be like a Josh Hart I would love. They're not trading Josh Hart. Josh Hart is a key piece of, I mean, I guess if there is a conversation, but like he's a key piece of what it feels like they could do. Maybe we got guards, but would a Jordan Clarkson interest you just as a veteran scorer? Maybe like the Knicks are kind of a team that need to be with the Knicks. That like, I know that sounds crazy, but like, there's nobody, right? Let's get the ones out of the way that we know they're not getting rid of. Mikal Bridges going nowhere. Jalen Brunson, Josh Hart, Karl Anthony Towns. None of those four are leaving. So now you're talking about a Tyler Kolak. We got a PG already. Now you're talking about a Miles McBride. Nah. Mitchell Robinson, maybe, but Mitchell Robinson's always hurt. Yeah, you want to undersize Yabusele? I do like Yabusele.
Honestly, I wouldn't mind Yabusele coming off the Bulls bench, but not for Coby or Ayo. Like,
by the way, Yabusele's 30.
Yeah, but I like Yabusele. I think he's a player who just knows what he's doing.
I don't. There's nothing there that I really am looking for at all. Like, I'm good on just about all of the Knicks that would be available via trade.
Yeah, like, so here's the thing. The thing that they probably would offer, Mitchell Robinson, which could help the Bulls as far as getting a stylist center, but he's not healthy either. They're not reportedly not giving up Mikal Bridges. Like, I can't think of anything that I would want from the Knicks. Now, maybe we can get involved as a 3-team trade, maybe something like that can make it more interesting. But just think about a straight-up trade between the Knicks and the Bulls. There's just not much that I would want that they are on. Like, there's some, you can interest me in Mikal Bridges, but there's not much that they're actually reportedly going to offer that would interest me.
You could interest me in OG Anunoby.
You could, yeah, for sure. Which
I do an OG Anunoby.
We could have had OG Anunoby.
Oh boy.
Never mind. Let me shut up.
Just saying. Hey. I'm not saying. I'm just saying it could have been done. We could have had him a while ago.
Anyway. But yeah, so that I'm not sure on. But Pat, of course, we hear the same old. Zubac has popped up as a potential with the Clippers maybe looking to go younger. Zubac for Coby. We talked a little bit about that, for what that trade could look like. But as it stands right now, there's just a lot of smoke around the Bulls and a lot of talk, which as Bulls fans, we all know none of this crap is happening.
That's kind of the bottom line. As you see a lot of the smoke, you see a lot of the with the Bulls, it's the only team in the world where I think where there's smoke, there's definitely no fire. It's just AK left a pot on the stove. Hey, that's all it is. Like, oh man, there's smoke, there's fire. No, AK just left some beans, they burning.
No, AK doesn't even strike me as he left bread in the oven, bro.
He left a little bread in the oven. Oh, it's just burning. It ain't gonna burn the house down. It's just, that's all the smoke. But you will have this residue of burnt smell in your house for the next 6 years.
Bro, somebody ever burnt okra? Bro, that residue does not leave until the next holiday, bro.
Why you just bring that memory
bro,
back?
The smell of burnt okra is so criminal, bro. Like that will stain your soul for a year, bro.
That's so nasty. I'm not even a fan of okra, bro.
Yeah, I don't like the texture of it.
I don't mind the texture of it. I hate that after you eat okra, everything tastes like okra. That makes me so mad, bro. You be enjoying it. My mom used to make a fire stew and she would put okra in it. And the stew was great until I tasted the okra. And then it just was a stew of okra. I feel like this is only a black issue. I'm not going to lie to you.
This is only a black. Wait, hold on. We want to hear from y'all, whether you listen live or not. Do white people eat okra?
I don't know no white folks that eat okra.
I have never seen a white person eat okra in my life.
And I know a lot of white people, half the family.
Yeah, same. I don't think I've ever seen anybody eat okra. But let us know that down below.
There's about to be some black folks in here that are like, what the f is okra?
They definitely grew up in Naperville. Anything left, Pat, before we get up out of here?
Nah, man, let's get out of here, man. Follow us on everything at Locked On Bulls. You can follow me on everything at Pat the Designer. And hey, Packers fans, how y'all doing? Hey, all day, baby. Yeah. Move your head. Move your head. Move your head.
Gotta love it. You guys can follow me at CEO Haize. Locked On Bulls is free and available on every podcasting app and platform of your choice, as well as YouTube, the Odyssey app, Amazon Fire TV, Roku TV, Fubo TV, basically anywhere you want us. You can get it. You know where you can't get Packers fans? On a football field because they're home. We'll catch you guys bright and early tomorrow, y'all. Peace.
They think Okra is a black girl name is insane. Oh.